Wait a second. Today, the speaker of today, it's going to be one of your highlights of the year, what you're going to experience the next hour. Guaranteed. 45 minutes, whatever. Whatever. Rabbi Mizrachi is a known speaker all over the world, originally from Eretz Yisrael, Bat Yam, living for the last 24 years in Monsey, but he's... It's a microphone?
אם יש בסדר.
Yeah, let's get it. Okay, I'll take, it's a mic in the back. Mike's filming. Where Mike's filming is the back. And it's a real pleasure that on this busy schedule, Rabbi Mizrachi is coming to our base. And really, we have to thank Moshe Baron. Where's Moshe Baron? Right in front of us. It's totally credit to Moshe Baron, and please afterwards each one tell him a personal thank you. You'll see you have many, many reasons for that. Without any further ado, b'vakasha k'vod harav.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'm honored to be here. I didn't know it's Baruch Hashem, so many people learning here. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm very happy to see a room full of Torah learner here. Baruch Hashem, beautiful. Today, the generation has challenges that no one before in history had. Every generation, people learn Torah, and they grew up, and they got married, and they established homes.
Sorry, if anybody can help with the microphone, you only have one or two to come out. Okay, thank you.
So, in every generation, there was always challenges, but it seems that in this generation, with what's happening today with the media, and all these electronic devices and the phones and the internet and the Facebook and all these things that are out there, that it's much, much, much harder to keep the kedusha of the learning of the Torah to stay by a person. What is it like? If you take a pot with water and you put it on a fire, and then you take it off, and you put it back on, and you take it off, and you put it back on, it can be hours and the water are not boiling. If you add together how many minutes the water was on a fire, it could be more than an hour. It's plenty to boil the water. But it wasn't an hour straight. It was 2 minutes and then 3 minutes off. And then another minute and 2 minutes off. This is really what happened today to Bachur Yeshiva that comes and learns for a few hours, Baruch Hashem, Gemara, Mishnah, Musar, Chumash, and then he goes home. And he goes to places, and this comes the Yetzer Hara and destroyed all the Kedusha. So he goes high, and he goes down, and he goes high, and he goes down, and he can go sometimes 10 years of learning, and you look at him after 10 years, and you ask yourself, is this Frum guy, or is he a secular boy? What is he? And then you ask yourself, how can it be? Thank you. How can it be that a person that is in yeshiva for so many years, after 10 years, he still has secular ideology? His emunah close to zero. His modesty close to zero. His yirat shamayim close to zero. Devotion close to zero. Laziness 100%. Watching his eyes hardly ever. Makpid in kashrut only when it's convenient. What happened? How did it happen to someone who learned in a good yeshiva? If he doesn't learn in a good place, no, what do you expect? But learns in a good yeshiva, comes the home, what he does at home in the after hours, and destroyed all the kedusha, and a person is not really fulfilling his purpose in life. The Ramchal in Mesilat Yesharim in the beginning of his book, he begins to explain the purpose of life, the purpose of the creation. We can say there are a few different purposes. If you really look at what Chazal says and all the Mefarshim, there are a few different things that a person has to do, main things in life. One is to establish very strong connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Constant connection that should always get higher and higher by the minute, by the hour, by the day, constant time. And one more thing, to fight and win against his Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is not an enemy. It's the best thing that happened, because without it you won't get the reward. So we need the Yetzer Hara. Otherwise, if we don't have Yetzer Hara, we have nothing to do in this world. There's a question, if a person knows he has one weakness, one desire that he cannot control, and he went to the doctor to do a surgery, and the doctor made him disabled. Now he's defected, that's it. He has a problem in his body, that's it. This desire cannot take place anymore. And now he say, Baruch Hashem, for the next 40 years that I'm going to live here, I won't make any sin. Why? I got rid of this desire, because even if I want, I can't. Is this person is a tzaddik or is a rasha? The answer is not a tzaddik. Chazal say, Ezu hagibor hakovesh et yitzro, not oker et yitzro. Person can commit suicide, and then in that case, he will never have any test. What good is that? You didn't come here to kill yourself, you came here to pass the test. I'll tell you a story from my experience, how much a person can achieve. There used to be in New York something that called the Israeli House in Brooklyn. What does it mean? There is one wealthy Jew that sponsors the place, that Israelis who come from Israel to New York for different reasons, secular Israeli, they would live there for free and they will eat there for free, but they have to commit to participate in lectures every night between 8 and 10. That's the payment, that's the rent. You have to pay 2 hours of learning per day and you live for free. Needless to say that many of the Israelis, they came not for the Torah, they came for the free rent and the food, but they had to participate in the lectures. Who was the speakers? I was one of them. I used to go there on Monday nights. One time I came to speak there, and I see 2 Israeli guys. One has hair, you know, like a real afro. He cannot walk through the door. That's how wide his head was. And the other one, he has very long hair in the back. They both not observant, and we begin to argue. We argue, I prove to them the Torah is min hashamayim, the Torah is divine, a person can never write the Torah. The argument takes place 3 hours. By now it's 11 o'clock at night. What is the thing that I focus the most? That I should have a haircut. Haircut is not an obligation from the 10 Commandments. There are much more critical things, such as keeping Shabbos and other things. But I wasn't really focusing so much on the heavy stuff. I already knew if I'm able to remove the afro, that's already a huge step forward. But they love their hair so much. They don't want to get rid of it. One guy's name was Oren, the other guy's name was Yossi. 3 hours argument about if they take a haircut or not. Do you know what happened at 11 o'clock at night? A person walked through the door. His name is Gil Nachman. He made Aliyah, today he lives in Israel. He was the most famous barber in Brooklyn. He has a salon, he cuts hair, very good. All the Israelis love him because he's in style, he knows how to give good haircuts. So always his salon is packed with people. At 11 o'clock at night, he entered the house with a haircut machine scissors, all the things you need for haircut, he's holding in his hand. This is how it was. He said, oh, Rabbi, I was walking 1 block away here, and I heard you giving a lecture here. I say, it's 1 block away. Maybe I come and say hello. So I say to him, but why at 11 o'clock at night you're holding a haircut machine and scissors? He said, no, I give haircuts to wealthy clients that cannot come during the day to the shop. So I go to their homes and I cut their hair. So since I was 1 block away, I walked here. I said, maybe I'll still catch you here. So I look at the 2 guys and I said to them, the creator of the world went out of his way to send you a private barber at 11 o'clock at night right into the lecture. And you're not going to cut your hair? They look at each other. They say, it's too obvious. This guy, Oren, is holding his hair. Whoa! Like he's literally crying. How am I going to cut it? It took me years to grow it. Unbelievable how a person would be in love with foolish hair. What's hair? He said, okay, there's no choice. They went to the shower room. He gave him a haircut. In the meantime, I talked to this guy, Yossi. All of a sudden, we hear such a scream from the shower. No! I see he comes out. His hair became like the size of a tennis ball. Very small, it was very big. We didn't recognize it. What did I do? He begins to cry. If you wouldn't know it's about haircut, you would think, Chas v'shalom, someone died. This is how he was crying. Wow, why did I agree to cut the hair? I said to the guy, you look a little bit more normal. Go inside, have a haircut. Now they finished the haircut, he's crying. Now I say, okay, that was step number 1. Step number 2, I have to bring you to Monsey to the Yeshiva for a week. That was a lot easier, believe it or not. The hair was very, very strong argument. But with the hair, after the hair went off, this guy Yossi told me, I don't mind to come try Yeshiva. But I can't come now. It's Monday night. I'm working by the bakery in Borough Park, if you know New York. So I said to him, don't worry, I know the boss of the bakery. I'll call him myself tomorrow morning. And I said, it's an emergency. I had to take you to save your neshama, to bring you to Yeshiva. He won't care that you didn't come. Don't worry. I'll arrange it. Come with me now. So he said to me, no, I have other errands. I cannot come now. So he said to me, but I promise you Sunday, if you be around Sunday, I'll come with you. I said, I won't be around Sunday. It's no problem. I can arrange someone to bring you. But why don't you come now? I know by Sunday I'll forget this whole night. He said, no, I promise you I will come Sunday. So I said to him, how much money you have in your wallet? So he opened up his wallet. He said, $200. I said, give it to me as deposit, security deposit. He said to me, are you serious? I said, yes, I know how the Yetzer Hara works. In 2 hours from now, you'll forget that I was here. Now you give me this $200. If you show up Sunday like you promised, as soon as you enter the yeshiva, I hand you the $200. If you don't come, I put it in the tzedakah box of the yeshiva, and that's your donation to Torah. You agree? We say, deal. Sunday, I sit in yeshiva, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1, lunch break, 1 o'clock. I stay, I sit. 1:30, both of them came with bags. Yossi and Oren entered the yeshiva. Right away, I look for the $200. I came to her, I said, very good, I'm very happy to see you here. He takes the $200 and he said to me, looks at me in the eyes, he said, you know why I'm here? I said, why? He said, because of the $200. You know how hard I work for $200? It's 3 days of work in a bakery. This was many years ago, this story. Maybe, 14, 13 years ago. Both of them are in Israel, Charedim, with a Haredi family, and this Yossi will be Gdol Ador. Will be Gdol Ador. He was such a genius in Limud. What he did in 2 years, an average person does not do in 10 years. Computer mind. Everything he learns, he remembers. 1 year in yeshiva, he could have been the Rosh Yeshiva already. $200 save the neshama in 30 years from now. This guy will be one of Gidolei Hador without a doubt. It's learning matmid atzum. What's the power of the Torah? For the $200, the neshama got saved. You know, who can tell me when he wants to come close to Hashem, what is the main obstacle that make a person that want to be connected to Hashem actually get disconnected from Hashem? From experience or from knowledge? What's the main thing that makes a Jewish boy like you that wants to be connected to Hashem and constantly fail? Just because he learned beautiful Gemara and he's a big Talmid and he has a beautiful thing and he needs good marks and he needs a GED, whatever, doesn't mean he's connected to Hashem. You know? The question is, how a person can be connected to Hashem and what makes him disconnect from Hashem? Who knows? Anybody can answer this here? Yeah.
Themselves.
Well, be a little bit more specific.
Each person has their own, they stand their own way. But each person stands their own obstacle.
Well, we all have obstacles, but you have to be more specific. What do you think is the main obstacle between a Jew that wants to be connected to Hashem to actually reach a level of connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? What do you think? I'm going to read to you the words of the Chazon Ish. Chazon Ish, in case you did not know, was giving his life for the Torah. Sometimes he was learning for so many hours, he was not eating for days. One time, 3 days in a row, he learned. And he said, when I learn, I forget that I did not eat. I don't even feel the hunger, because his mind was so into the learning that he did not even feel that he's hungry. He was in a different world. This is the words of the Chazon Ish. Im yizkeh adam, if a person will have the zchut, the merit, להרגיש את הרע והנמאס, to feel the bad, בהיעדר ידיעת התורה, of being an ignorant Jew. Most ignorant Jews, they don't feel anything horrible about being ignorant. Okay, so I'm not a rabbi. Okay, so I'm not a big Talmid Chacham. Okay, so I don't know Torah. But I'm a doctor, but I'm a lawyer, but I'm a judge, but I'm the prime minister, but I'm a very big businessman. I'm a very successful one. So I don't know Torah. Big deal. You know Torah, and I know medicine. We both educated people in different fields. The answer is absolutely wrong. We are not talking about education here. We're not talking education. You can learn all your life history, it will never make you holy. You learn math all your life. You know math better than any person in the world. Does it make you connected to Hashem because you know math? You finish Harvard University. It made you any connection to Hashem? It made you a better human being? You got rid of your ego? You got rid of your pride? You got rid of your laziness? You got rid of your lies? No. You're a good doctor. But it did not make you any better person. You know computers very much. But you're the same person. You did not improve spiritually anything. You learn Torah one day already, it's a massive change in your character. We have Yeshiva in Muncie. You should see the guys we bring in. Earrings, hairs, like India, all kinds of things I don't want to even say to people in your age what they used to do, these people. They come to the yeshiva in 1 month. If you did not see how they look and you see them after 1 month, you're sure that they're from birth. 100% Bnei Torah already. Netila is netila, getting up in the morning, Birkot HaShachar, mikveh, they already have some beard. 2 months later, black hat. You should see how they get into the Torah. You say, you the one who a few months ago was 100% a goy? How in 1 or 2 months you became such a tzaddik? And you learn and you're so happy from what you're doing. The answer is, Ma'or sheba machziro lamutav. The spiritual light of the Torah is like an antibiotic to the infection that a person has in his heart. Every person has an infection, spiritual, that constantly asks to grow. The Torah kill it. You stop learning Torah, right away you go down. What's the proof? Ben Azmanim. In Yeshivot, they learn 3-4 months, comes Ben Azmanim 3 weeks. When they wait, people leave the Yeshiva to Ben Azmanim in a very high spiritual level. Usually the way they return to the Yeshiva after 3 weeks, at least half of their level drop. This is what Hashem say. Torah, what is it? As soon as you leave it a day or two, you feel a massive drop. Some people think, listen, I learned 20 years in Yeshiva, I already reached a very high level of knowledge and holiness. That's it. Now I can go and work and learn 1 hour a day. Wrong. As soon as you drop the level of learning 1 week, you see a massive drop. The clothes is changing, the beard got shorter, the black hat disappeared, the davening instead of 1 hour and 10 minutes in the morning became 30 minutes barely. Instead of praying at 7, he prays at 10. No Kriyat Shema, no devotion, no tznius. Already opened himself a Facebook page with not modest girls. This is a graduate of a great yeshiva. And later he becomes to have the ot of apikorsiut, even though he learned 20 years in a very good yeshiva. Why? That's not like anything else. If you learn math and you stop one day, whatever you learn stay by you for the rest of your life. That's it, you know it. If you know history, you know it for the rest of your life. You can quit at one point. Torah, you cannot quit. The Rambam writes, a minute before a person dies, still has an obligation to learn Torah. This is one of the main purposes that Kadosh Baruch Hu put us here. So the Chazon Ish continue. If a person will feel how miserable he is for not knowing Torah, until his heart would melt from crying. He cries for hours and hours and hours and hours, and his wife say, Moishi, why are you crying? Who died? My neshama died, nothing else. I cry because I do not know Torah. I'm 40 years old. I wasted my years in Facebook, in YouTube, in nonsense, and now I'm 40 years old and I realize, and my son brings me the Gemara and asks me a question and I have no idea. I don't know anything. I wasted my whole life. So he cries in front of Hashem. Listen to the words of the Chazon Ish. Hine yeda adam. If a person reach a level that his heart is broken with tears for not learning and not knowing Torah, if he reached this level that he realized how miserable he is for not knowing Torah, most people never get to this level. They die with a smile that they do not know even 1 page of Gemara in their entire life. It doesn't bother them. As long as they made money in their career, they're happy. If a person already reached this level and he say, you know, I basically lost my opportunity, and he cries so much, you should already know you jumped, you elevated yourself to a much higher level. ואשרי חלקו, how lucky he is, וכבר מובטח לו שתפילתו נשמעת. We learn from the Chazon Ish an important foundation for our life. Some people are ignorant and other people are ignorant. He does not know Torah and he does not know Torah. But he's 1,000,000 times better than him. Why? Why? Because he found out that I am sick and I must take care of my sickness. And he doesn't know. The Ramchal say there are 2 kinds of people. First person lives in the darkness and the second person lives in the darkness. So why it's two kind of people? It's one kind. He lives in the Reuven in the darkness, and Shimon's in the darkness. The Ramchal say no. One of them just discovered that he's in the darkness. What is it like? Two friends going to play golf. Sunny day, they take their sport car, they love the materialistic world. One of them is very happy, and one of them is he can barely smile. He's very depressed. Why? Both of them, lo aleinu, lo alechem, have cancer. One knows that he has, the other one did not find out yet. One went yesterday and the doctor made a CAT scan and he told him we have to do chemo, we have to do all these things and maybe a surgery, and you have to pray now, maybe you have to prepare to move on to the next world. So he's very depressed. He doesn't care about the golf, he doesn't care about the sun, he doesn't care about the fancy car. All these things that he loved so much is really mean nothing for him. He has only one thing in his mind, to survive. The other one is in exact same situation, but he doesn't know it yet. So he's singing, enjoying the sun, loving his car. Who is more miserable? The one that is crying or the one that is singing out of happiness? Who is more miserable? What do you think? Technically, when you look at them, the one who sings is happier, no? He's more miserable. Why? He doesn't have a chance to get saved because he's not even aware of his problem. If you do not recognize the problem, how are you going to fix it? There's no way to fix it. You know, sometimes a person is angry. Sometimes a person is depressed. Sometimes a person is empty. This is all symptoms. What is the real problem? Frustration, anger, sadness. This is symptoms. Person has fever. Fever, it's not the sickness. Fever indicates that there is an infection somewhere in the body. The infection is the disease, and the fever, it's the symptom. It's like a car. The check engine light went on, check engine. So a person say, I have a solution. He cuts the wire. And then a day later the engine goes on fire. No oil in the engine. He cut the wire. This is what we do today. We take pills and it reduces the fever, but it did not fix the problem. Same thing over here. The only thing that can fix the person's infection is the Torah. You look at that, I have to go to school, I'm a teenager, people go to school, I have to go to school. Don't look at that way. You have to understand whether you're in school, whether you're after school, whether you're older, whether you're an old person. All over the world there's something that's called Chok Chinuch Chova. You have to learn 12 years. You have to learn 10 years. In New York, if you walk in the street, teenager walk in the street, and a policeman sees him, excuse me, how old are you? 15. What are you doing in the street at 10 o'clock in the morning? What school you belong to? I drop out of school. What do? Nothing. Who are your parents? Take me to your home. He comes to the house, he tells the father, you have 1 week. You give him a summons. You have 1 week to put your kid in a school. If the kid won't be in school, you get arrested. Why the policemen care? This is the law. The kid must be in school. Any kind of school, but put him in school. That's it. The only Chok Chinuch Chova that remain until the last second of a person's life is in Judaism. There are 80,000 fake religions and cults that came after the Torah was given to the Jews in Har Sinai in front of millions of witnesses. Millions of Jews heard Hashem and Moshe speaks. It never happened in any other fake religion. There's always someone comes and make up a lie. You want to believe him or you don't want to believe him, it's up to you. The only nation who saw that the religion is real and it's divine, it's us. Because we got it directly from Hashem, and we are the actors in the movie of Hashem. Hashem gave us a script. And we read inside the Torah what happened to us in Mitzrayim. What did we see? What did we hear? We know what happened to us. 80,000 religions and cults who came after. If you do not know Islam, if you're an Arab and you do not know Islam, you're not a criminal. If you're Christians and you don't know their book, you're not a criminal. If you're a Buddhist and you do not know their books, you're not a criminal. If you're a Jew and you do not know Torah, you're a criminal. It's a crime. You violated the most important obligation. Limud Torah כנגד כולם. ביטול תורה כנגד כולם. It's not a privilege. It's not, okay, I'm in a mood to learn. One of my students once told me, today I'm not in a mood to learn. So I told him, who said that you have to learn only when you're in a mood? If you're not in a mood to eat, you still need to eat. If not, you're very hungry, you suffer. The food is not so delicious. Big deal, you need to survive. You're not in a mood to go to work. But you go to work, you need money. Who's to say that you only do what you're in a mood for? You have to do what you're obligated by your Creator to do. You know, I tell you a story. 1989, I came to this country. I finished the Israeli army. I came to New York. I was in business for a few years, in banking. One time I went to Milwaukee for business. They had a convention. So there was about 60 Gentiles, non-Jews. They all came to that convention in a weekend in a hotel. Oops, sorry about that. Thank you. So they came for the convention, and I asked them, can you get me glad kosher food? Because they serve a lot of non-kosher food. And they told me, okay, we'll order from Chicago. There's a glad kosher place. So they ordered me a lousy sandwich in a styrofoam plate, cold from a week ago, by the time he arrived. And they're all eating all kinds of, fancy food. And I'm sitting with a little styrofoam plate, and all the goyim looks at me. Who is this weird guy? Why doesn't he eat from all this great food? So right away I became the attraction of the convention. All these goyim started saying, what is this? Why are you eating this? You're on a diet? You're sick? What? I said, no, it's kosher food. Oh, you're Jewish? Yeah, you're right. You eat kosher, yeah. All of a sudden, it became a seminar for Judaism. They had to learn about banking. I begin to preach to them. And then one black guy asked me, tell me, what is this thing, sacrifices? Tell me about this, tell me about Bet HaMikdash, tell me. All of a sudden, I give them a lecture there. By the time I'm done there, I have to fly back to New York. I get on a plane. There's such a massive snowstorm. The plane has to learn an emergency landing. Where? In Cleveland. Just took off. Right away, has to land already. You should see how people were screaming in the plane. Boom, bam, boom. The plane is moving, shaking, winds. The pilot has to land. We land in Cleveland. They say, it will be half an hour, it will be an hour, it will be 2 hours. Now I'm in Cleveland. There's no kosher food there. I didn't plan to be stuck there 7 hours. I'm in Cleveland, and I see an old man, Jewish man. I didn't know who he is at that time. I see he has a book. He sits in a terminal, and he learns non-stop. And I see an old lady, religious one, standing next to him, and a kid, your age, red-haired kid, standing next to them. I know. Then I saw another Haredi with black hat, and he came from Canada, and he made a stop in Cleveland. And I said to him, oh, I'm starving, there's nothing to eat here. He took out cookies, dates, he gives me. So then I said to him, listen, I'm already stuck here for hours. This old man did not move his face a second from the book. So he looks at me, says, are you normal? You don't know who he is? I said, no. He said, this is the biggest rabbi in America, or maybe in the world. I said, what? That's his name. He said, Rav Pam. Rav Pam. You don't know Rav Pam from Israel, and I know him. You live in America, you don't know who Rav Pam is? I said, no, I never saw who he is. This story is 23 years ago, 22 years ago. So I said to him, wow, maybe I should get a bracha from him. But I knew you don't disturb a person that learns Torah. You don't learn, you don't stop. Every second you learn Torah, every letter you read is mitzvah from the Torah. Every letter. You talk to him 1 minute, you already made him lose 200-300 mitzvot. You don't do it, you wait. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, came to visit Rav Ovadia Yosef. Rav Ovadia was so into the learning, Bibi Netanyahu was standing there with all his bodyguards with the walkie-talkie and the noise and the security next to Rav Ovadia half an hour. And Rav Ovadia did not realize he's standing 1 step away from him. Half an hour! I'm not exaggerating. Half an hour, he was so embarrassed, the Prime Minister, standing there. None of the people around Rav Ovadia dare to touch his shoulder. Rabbi, wake up. The Prime Minister is standing there. And they were standing, and all of a sudden he saw him, and he got up, and he was very friendly to him. He didn't even realize he's there. It's not in this world. So I said, how do I get to this rabbi to give me bracha? So the airline, they're offering sodas. Because we're stuck in the airport, so they're giving sodas. So I said, great opportunity. I'll give Rav Pam Coca-Cola. Just show you what kind of fool I was 24 years ago. So I come to Gdol Ador with a can of Coke and a plastic cup. Rabbi, maybe you want to drink something. So he looked at me like this. He didn't know if to smile. He was a little bit surprised. So maybe you want to drink? I said, no, I'm good. Okay, I said, okay. I was embarrassed to tell him, give me bracha. So I didn't say anything. I took the soda, I put it on the side. Then after a minute, he realized that everyone is sitting, but I'm standing. There was a chair next to his wife. So he told me, sit. I'm embarrassed to sit next to the rabbi's wife. He told me, sit. So I sat. Now we're sitting there for hours. She's telling me about her husband, about what's happening in Brooklyn, in the Yeshiva. All of a sudden, they called to get on a plane. I'm looking for my boarding pass. It wasn't like today, everything computerized, it's automatically barcode. It was different days. You need your pass to get on a plane. You don't have it, they don't let you on. Now I'm in a terminal. I'm looking for my pass. I lost it. It fell somewhere. Everywhere, I get so nervous. I come to the desk, I say to her, excuse me, you wrote my name here, I'm on a plane. I was on a plane, checking the list. She said, I'm very sorry. You don't have the pass, you cannot get on the plane. After 7 hours, I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere there. You cannot get on a plane. So I'm raising my voice. I said, what do you mean? How did I get here? I'm very sorry, sir. Disturbing the order. All of a sudden, Rav Pam got up. And he said like this, young man, don't worry. You get home on time, relax. Not even a second later, a black woman 100 feet away. Anyone lost his boarding pass? I ran, כמוצא שלל רב. Me, thank you, I got it. Now I say, Ribono Shel Olam, I'm begging you, do me this nest. There's more than 200 people on the flight. Maybe my seat will be next to the rabbi. Because they came from Cleveland. He went to Chasona in Cleveland. He's joining my plane. So he's joining it. So I said, maybe you make my seat next to the rabbi, sit next to him on the flight. So now he's standing online. He has a little suitcase. And of course, he's learning. So I said, Rabbi, maybe I'll hold the suitcase for you. Try to become friendly with him. He said, no, it's okay. We get on a plane. Ribono Shel Olam, more than 200 goyim on a flight. My seat right next to him and his wife. In the same row. I sit next to him in a plane. On the way to New York, the plane is shaking. Again, it's still snowstorm. He doesn't move an inch from the book like this. Non-stop. It's not in this world. Everyone's screaming. Nothing. Like this. Then when we finally landed, the suitcase was on top. Right away I got up, I picked up the suitcase. I said, Rabbi, here, I'll take the suitcase out for you. Maybe you give me bracha. So he put his hand on my head. He gave me such a bracha. You soon bring us the good news. Okay, I left. Few months later, I live in Manhattan on the 19th floor at that time. I come home from work. I see on my door a little bag. I open the bag. I see Mishloach Manot. I look at the card. Rabbi and Rebbe sent Pam to Yosef Mizrachi. Saw me, talked to me 1 minute in a plane. A few months later, he remembered me, sent me Mishloach Manot. I see chickpeas, orange, all kinds of cookies. How he remembered me? I used to learn Gemara with Rabbi Mizrachi there in a neighborhood that learns with his grandson Chevruta. And they come to him every day to ask him questions and say, tell me, you live in Lower East Side, right? Yes. You know Mizrachi? Say, yeah, I learned Gemara with him. He was teaching me Gemara. But you know, they anav, these people. We learn Gemara together. Give him this Mishloach Manot. Why do I tell you this story? A person does not waste a minute. When I had my first son, I called to invite him to be a sandak. How many people happy to be a sandak? People pay money for it. He said, I have like these 2, 3 every day. I have to learn. I don't have time for this. Forgive me. I have enough. Find a different sandak. One time I was supposed to be a sandak in a Brit. My friend had a boy. The only religious person he knew in those days was me. So come, you be the sandak. I went to the mikveh, I'm ready, I'm excited. First time I'm supposed to be sandak in my life, many years ago. I'm already, he has a restaurant, so he set up the restaurant for Brit Milah. All of a sudden, a secular guy walk in, hair, oil in his hair, a red Mercedes, he walk in. I see he's talking to my friend, he whispers something in his ear. So my friend comes to me and says, I'm very sorry. I have to give him to be sandak. He is willing to pay me $5,000 to be sandak. Right away, he dumped me. He took that guy, came out of nowhere. He heard there's a Brit, paid him $5,000 to be sandak. Rav Pam said, I have to learn. Rav Ovadia Yosef almost every day was sandak in his house. He has a shul. Do you know how long was the Brit Milah by him? 1 minute. Did you ever saw Brit Milah 1 minute? Like this. The davening finished. The rabbi sit on a chair. Quick, bring the baby. Moel, this, 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah, ta, 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 1, 2, 3. Shechayanu. He goes into the learning room. Not to waste a minute. People who evaluate Torah, it's like oxygen. Since time is finishing, one person came to the Rebbe and he said to him, Rebbe, you the religious people always say, Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, en od milvado. Do you really believe it's possible that a Jew would have Hashem in front of him every second of his life? How? What about work? What about food? What about business? However, Hashem will be in front of you every second of your life. So the Rebbe told him, I will prove to you that it's possible. The Rebbe has 2 Talmidim, big giants. He said, grab him and bring him to the lake. So they took him to the lake. What are you doing? We're going to show you what it means, enod milvado. They take him to the lake. He's trying to escape. You're not going anywhere. Relax. They bring him to the lake, and the Rebbe come. He stand by the lake, and now they brought him inside the lake, and the Rebbe goes like this. So they grab his head, push it in the water, 20 seconds. He's in the water. The Rebbe goes like this. They bring him up. So he went like this. Right away, they push him back in. 10 minutes like this. Or up and down, up and down. Every few seconds, he comes, push him right back in. After he's already destroyed, they left him alone. So it took him about a minute. He's coughing. What kind of Rebbe you are? This is mafia here. It's not Rebbe. What's going on here? I come to ask a question. You're almost killing me. So the Rebbe told him, I answer your question. So he said, what's the connection between my question to try to drown me in the lake? So I told him, you know, you're a very big businessman, right? You have a wife, you have children, you have stores, you have employees, you have pension plans, you have a lot of things, no? When your head was under the water, did you think about your lovely wife? They said, no. Did you think about your beautiful children? No. Did you think about your millions of dollars businesses that you have? No. What did you think about? Only one thing, air. Air. That's all. Everything else is nothing. Just to breathe, not to die. That's what it means, En od milvado. Person that understands that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's his oxygen. Without him, there's no life. Without him, there's no eternity. Without him, there's no nothing. So for obviously holy things, it's En od milvado, Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid. But if a person doesn't understand who Hashem is, the Torah says, Vida'atem ki ani Hashem. You should know, not believe. Believing means not knowing. You should know I'm your God. You should know I'm watching you every second of your life. When you learn good in yeshiva, and when you're in a computer, in the internet, in a place that you're not supposed to be. I'm watching you when you do good. I'm watching you when you do bad. And everything is recorded, and in the end you're going to have to report to me why you did and why you didn't. And that's the bottom line. That's why I want to encourage every one of you. Your life is in front of you. The ones who will be clever to take advantage on the great rabbis and the learning and the yeshiva and the tools that Hashem gave you. Not that many kids have the mazal to sit in a good yeshiva and learn. What do you think? Don't take it for granted. There are kids who come to me in New York every night. I'm dying to go to yeshiva. My father doesn't let me. My parents do not want to pay. My father wants me to be a secular study. I had to go 1 hour arguing with the father. He almost killed me to let his son go to yeshiva. What an argument. You should see how the father was fighting. I have no idea what Torah is. In the end, he surrendered. And the boy went to yeshiva, Baruch Hashem. But many wants to go and they can't. And the one that goes to yeshiva sometimes take it for granted. You're in a gold mine. You're collecting diamonds. Don't take it for granted. It's not a joke. It's not a regular school. Yeshiva, it's not a school. Yeshiva, it's ticket for life of eternity. The faster you get it, the more successful you'll be, and you will earn the eternity that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised every Jew if he listens and does what he does, what he told him. Please, be smart, be clever. There's a lot of infatuations, lots of desires, lots of obstacles. Your friend will not be able to defend you when you stand in front of Hashem. You have to remember this. I want to encourage each one of you to improve whatever needs improvement. We all need improvement. Watch the eyes. Watch what he does, what he says, what he looks at. Put full devotion in Torah. And Be'ezrat Hashem will have the merit to see you successful in everything you do. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
We'll have a short question and answer with Rabbi Mizrachi. Rabbi Mizrachi, maybe I'll take an advantage because I have the mic. The Rav asked, what is the biggest obstacle, barrier, between us and connecting to Hashem? Did the Rav answer that question?
Yeah, well, it's a good point. Maybe I did not finish the answer. The most important thing is that a person understands that the main obstacle between us and Hashem is the desire, is the addiction to materialistic pleasure. What is materialistic pleasure? Money, clothing, cars, women, internet, Facebook, Lashon Hara, all kinds of things, movies. You cannot live in two different worlds at the same time and be successful. You have to decide, you with Hashem or Chas v'Shalom, you against Him. Any questions, like the Rav say, maybe we take advantage? Yes.
The Rabbi said that seemed to imply that it's impossible to properly balance Torah with work. The Rabbi said that even learning 1 hour a day out of yeshiva will lead to apikosos. Is there any hope for people who either can't learn all day or must support themselves?
First of all, it's not guaranteed that a person that only learns an hour a day would lead him to apikosion. It's a possibility. Some people will be strong enough not to fall into that trap. But what I'm saying is like this. There is a very simple rule. The more Torah you learn, the closer you are to Hashem. The less Torah you learn, the further you are from Hashem. And there's no hocus pocus. The more you connected, the more you feel the presence of Hashem in your neshama, in your life. The less you are connected, you chas v'shalom sometimes feel that you're hardly a frum Jew. More questions, please. Yes?
What should one do for any obstacle? What's the first thing should one do?
It's very hard to hear you.
What should one do for any obstacle? The first thing.
So what's the first step? And if you have an obstacle, what's the first step to overcome it?
Okay, so what's the first step? Every person has at least 15 minutes a day to learn Musar. Take a good book of Musar and learn Musar per day. 2 pages, 3 pages, every day. Take a Musar book, go from A to Z, and another one, and another one. Or you can listen to lecture of Musar, like Mesilat Yesharim or Tzadikim, that elevate the neshama, and then every desire that a person has automatically melt and disappear. The Musar, you can sometimes learn Gemara and do very well, and you feel holiness, but not necessarily it encourages you to overcome your Yetzer Hara. More questions?
Listen, year 11, please, should go out, and the year 12 and 13, please stay out.
Yes.
What's the difference between
Mutzar and Hasidus? Hasidus is a combination of few things. Some of Hasidus is Musar, some of it is Kabbalah, it's ideology, it's all kinds of ideas who came to the world in the last 250 years. Some people feel that Hasidus elevate them in Avodat Hashem. But you have to remember that before Hasidut started, there were Judaism 3,100 years before that. And there were thousands of tzaddikim before there was Hasidut. So Hasidut took a lot of the things that were already in the world, and they combined it together into one group. But with or without Hasidut, a Jew has all the tools to be close to Hashem, tzaddik, talmid chacham, and keep all the mitzvot. Sometimes the Hasidut will do it faster for him. Sometimes it will not make a change. I met few Hasidim that thanks to Hasidut they stay in Judaism. And at the same time I met few Hasidim that they became Jewish the day they left Hasidut. So it's depend on a person. They told me, my parents taught me Hasidut, you taught me Judaism, and now I'm happy that I'm a Jew. Until now I suffered. And then sometimes it's the other way around. One person say, I used to be a regular Jew, and the day I discovered the light is from the minute I became a Hasid. Depend on the neshama of the person. It's no contradiction. Yes. Any more questions? Yeah.
what is so bad about having long hair?
Oh, good question, good question. The Zohar, the Kabbalah, that teaching us about a lot of secrets in life, it says that hair on the top of the head is judgment in the life of a person. It brings him bad mazal. Everything he does in his life, there's a strict midat adin on this person. Why? Hair on the top, it's judgment. Hair in the beard is mercy. It's secrets. We don't know. It's Kabbalah. It's mystical things. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, Zakan over here, the Zohar says, it's Rachamim, mercy. Midat HaRachamim. Amitgae beblorito, Chazal say, someone who's proud of his hair, mevi asonot al Israel, bringing tragedies to the nation of Israel. So we see it's not such a minor issue, with hair, without hair. It's something serious. Now, it says in Shulchan Aruch, when a person comes to do tshuva, 2 things you got to do right away. One is to take him to have a haircut, and second, to go to the mikveh. Both of them is not the oraita. Mikveh is not the oraita, and to take a haircut is not the oraita. But why it's so important? Because it's like a new product. You shave the din, the judgment from yourself, and you go and purify yourself in the mikveh. It's a wonderful start. Now let's talk about tefillin and davening and Shabbos. When the din is on a person, it brings a lot of problem. I was involved many, many times with people that had long hair for a while and they refused to take it off. And finally, after they took it off, they came back to me and said, now I understand why you always told me. my life is completely different. People who have longer, once in your life try. Cut it for 1 month short and you see the effect that it has in your life. Right away, it's a different life. It doesn't sound logical, but it's 100% divine. More.
What do you say to boys who learn Gemara? They say, לא קשור אליי, מה שגמרא אומר, עבד כנעני, שלא קשור להיום.
Oh. Okay, so there's two kinds of learning Torah. There's Torah that applies to every day. Torah that helped me to elevate my lifestyle and to do and to keep, which means it applies for today. And there is Torah that is not relevant to me. Korbanot, Eved Ivri, Eved Knani. It doesn't apply to me. So a person say, I would only learn what applies to today. What doesn't apply to today, I do not learn. So that's like, let me explain to you. The Torah says that a person learn Torah is to learn Torah L'Shem Shamayim, Lishma. Whether he like what he learns, whether it doesn't talk to him too much, it's still a mitzvah of limud Torah L'Shem Shamayim. What do I learn? Because Hashem say to learn. However, when a person go to college and he wants to be a doctor, when he learn medicine or the laws of physics or the body, he knows he's going to help him in his career as a doctor. But when they teach him history of the Greeks, what does it have to be with me wanting to be a doctor? It doesn't help me. So what is he feeling? He feels that he wastes his time. Every day I sit in class and learn foolish history of the Greeks. What do I have to do with that? I want to be a doctor. He's 100% right. But in Yeshiva, when you learn about Eved Ivri, Eved Knani, Korbanot, and things that has nothing to do with today's world, there is an advantage that you're not aware of. Any Torah learning, any, whether it's connected to today, whether it's not relevant for today, purify the soul. Take the contaminated soul from all the averot for the sin and purify it and make you a stronger connection to Hashem. That's what Hashem says. The food of the neshama is the Torah. And Gemara, it's the highest level, like the Rambam writes. And it purifies the soul more than any other learning. Even if it doesn't teach you what to do tomorrow. It's nothing to do with Avadim today. But there is another thing. There's a higher reward for it. If you only learn what you like, you get X amount of reward from Hashem. If you learn what you don't like, or what does not talk to you, your reward is even higher. Why? Because it's limud l'shem shamayim. I do not learn for my personal selfish reason. I learn because HaKadosh Baruch Hu say to learn. That's the answer. But you know what? If a person say, you know what, I learn only what applies to today, dayenu, at least he learned. I wish he learned all his life what relevant to today than not to learn at all, of course. But if he wants to go to even higher level, he learn everything kaseder. Whether it's relevant or not, it doesn't matter because the Sachar of Hashem is huge. Yes?
I would like to ask a question. I spoke to a boy or two boys last week, very, very good boys. And they said, davening is not inspirational for us. Therefore, we sleep. If I would find davening inspirational, I'd wake up and come. But it's not. What would the Rav answer to those two very good boys?
Okay, so let's say this boy has a person in London that he admires very much. Whether it's the Queen, whether it's the Prime Minister, whether it's the best football player, I don't know, everyone with his dream. And they will organize to him a personal meeting with this person that he admires so much. You meet the Prime Minister of England, one-on-one, for 1 hour, and you can request everything you need from him. Waive my taxes, help me to get a new car, help me to get an apartment. You have an opportunity to meet with him. Would it be inspiring you or not? What do you think? A person has to think, I'm meeting the king of the world, not the Queen of England, not the Prime Minister of England. I'm meeting the king of the world. A person has to speak to Hashem and add his own words into the Tfilat Shmona Esrei and Shomea Tfilah and speak to Hashem like a son who comes to the king, to the father, and requesting from him what I need. It's a privilege to pray to Hashem, not a punishment. It's a privilege. People who speaks to Hashem, every word, it's actually you get a reward for speaking to Hashem. That's before the davening and the request and what you're going to get. The actual davening is mitzvah taseh from the Torah, to pray. Mitzvah litpalel, even women. So it's a mamash making billions. You sit for 1 hour in shul, even you read, it's automatically like printing money. But it's even much bigger than money because the reward of Hashem is better. So what can you lose? You make money on actually speaking to the boss. And plus the boss gives you an extra salary. So what can you lose? Use your head is the greatest thing. It's very easy mitzvah. Hashem, help me, you're great, I appreciate you. The more you praise Hashem, the better your life would be. Yes, any more questions? Yeah.
You seem to imply that things like the internet and using electronic devices are bad, but they can also be used in very, very good ways. You know, they've got Bailan, you can use it to type notes and stuff like that. So is it possible to still have a good connection with Hashem if you can put like filters on it?
You know what internet is? Internet is a street. You walk in a street, you have one store for Sifrei Kodesh. You enter to the store, mitzvah. You're going to buy some nice books, you learn Torah, very good. Across the street, there's a horrible store of all the priestos and the averos.
I'm thinking of a filter.
I'm saying. So when you walk on the street, to walk on the street is not an avera. When you walk into a kosher store, you did good. You walk into a bad store, you did bad. Same thing internet. Clicking on internet and connecting, not necessarily in avera. Now the question is what page you're going to. You're going into TorahAnytime.com, mitzvah. You listen to great words of Torah. You're going to horrible places, very big sin. So since we have Yetzer Hara and we usually lose in the battle against the Yetzer Hara, so we need help. What's the help? Filter. If you have a filter, it's no problem. If it's kosher filter, even the Gdolim allow it. I said, I give you a recommendation. It's not halacha. Better without it. Even though it does a lot of good and it helps you to find all kinds of things, a person can reach very high level of happiness if he dipped himself into Torah learning. It's the greatest happiness. One person should try 1 week. 1 week without electronic. 1 week without smartphones. 1 week without watching videos. 1 week of going as deep as possible in Torah, like Rav Ovadia was when he was in your age. He did not go to play outside. He got the kids in recess and to learn and to learn and to learn, and he was in the highest level of happiness, more than the people who played outside. Believe me, Hashem knows what's the food of the neshama He created. And what did He say? There's no greater happiness than learning Torah. Mitzvat Hashem, bara meirat enayim. Ma'or sheba, there's light in the Torah. It's making a person happy. Pikudei Hashem yesharim mesamchei lev. It brings real happiness. Not like people think the movies and the videos bring happiness. That's an illusion. If a person would devote himself to connect to Torah, then you will understand what I say. Okay, last question, please. Yes?
How would you expect someone to balance their lifestyle after yeshiva with Torah learning and other things?
Give me an example what you call other things. You finish here, let's say 5 o'clock, you go home. No?
You have a full-time job and then you have children after, you have to look after them. How do you balance up with them?
Are you talking a married person?
Yeah.
That's one of, no, that's, you're right, it's a good point. That's one of the hardest challenges in life. Why? In the old days, in the time of the Rambam, a person wanted to learn and to go to work. There was no contradiction. Why? The streets were clean, women were modest. It was different worlds. Even the Goyim were religious, everyone. It was well known that almost everyone is religious. It's very easy to be at work when everyone around you is praying and everyone loves Hashem and everyone learns in any minute. Today it's not the case. So when a person goes to work, automatically it's a drop. There's no surprises. So what is the goal? The goal is that a person, in every open minute that he has to take opportunity and open a book. Many people that work, they have in between customers, like in a business, in a store, they have 20 minutes, half an hour, he goes another Mishnah. So while he's at work, he's connecting to Torah. When Hashem sees that a person cares so much about Torah, most likely will help him to be able to learn much more than to work. And also it's a matter of confidence and faith. I want to thank you very much for being so nice and listening. And Bezrat Hashem, I'll have one day another zchut to come and give you another speech. Thank you very much. Please take free CDs. There's all kinds of wonderful CDs right here in a suitcase. Open the suitcase. Everyone can take for himself, for family, for friends, as much as he wants.